Hey all, Bree from the No Guilt Mom podcast, and I have got a gift for you this holiday season. If you love the No Guilt Mom podcast, and I mean love the No Guilt Mom podcast, then tell us about it. Leave us a review, and you can be entered to win a No Guilt Mom gift card. All you have to do is leave a review, take a screenshot, and then simply go to noguiltmom.com/review to enter our giveaway for a free No Guilt Mom gift card, simply for telling us what you think about the podcast. It is amazing. But don't delay. Get right on this, as we're going to be giving away that No Guilt Mom gift card on December 21st. So get right on over and visit noguiltmom.com/review.
Welcome to the No Guilt Mom podcast. I am your host, Joanne Crone, and I am joined here by my curious co-host, Bree Tucker.
Oh, hello. I love that you picked curious because that is so excellent for today's episode.
It is. I was looking at that adjective and I'm like, yeah, this is going to be a get curious episode because today we're talking about guilt and shame.
Oh my goodness. Something that I feel like we definitely know a lot of as moms.
Yeah. And like every mom recently that I've talked to, guilt and shame has come up. And it's usually like around the context of like their kids are just making them go crazy. And then they say something about they're worried that they're going to screw up their kids for the rest of their lives.
Which keeps bringing me, I've said this like every time we have kicked around the idea of this episode, it brings me back to my favorite graphic. Behind every great kid is a mother who is certain she's screwing them up.
Yeah, like why do we do that to ourselves? Like I don't think dads go through this.
I don't know. And like honestly, I run through this a lot. Like, you know, my partner Miguel, like he works in early childhood too, and we talk about these kinds of things all the time. And it's just I find it very interesting that as a mom in general, we do tend to dwell on these little things more than dads do. And I just I don't know. I want to have the dad mentality where I don't freak out over every little thing.
Yeah, maybe it's like our deeper connection to our kids, like the deeper like brainwaves connection. Like you've heard those things about how when moms give birth, like their brains actually change. Like it's been researched that there is a change that make them more attuned to their child and their child's needs.
Well, yeah, and I
have no basis for that. I have no proof right now in front of me to back that up. That's completely out of my.
Well, I also remember, oh goodness, I also remember reading an article too about how women feel a physical pain when their children cry, especially as infants, and that's actually a primal instinct from way back in the caveman days, so that we would not abandon or we would actually care for our children. So like the physical pain is what makes it. I mean, because you felt that, right? Like
I felt that, and do you know
back
my cat and that gets the physical pain inside me too, and like.
Like that cat meows like mad.
Oh yeah, no, but I think cats could replicate that as well because I don't know. I think they're evil, but they're loving and evil, but they're kind of evil and devious. Like I love my cat. All the dog people are going like, yes.
Okay, you know I'm a dog person, but I'm thinking to myself, my dog though has that same power of manipulation, just with his eyes.
Yeah,
just with his eyes. Oh my goodness.
No, I think cats are so devious that they have learned how to mimic the newborn cry of a child in the same pitch in their meows. And so that's what like drives you crazy.
Okay.
Wants to feed them.
I will actually say that I kind of agree with that theory because way back in the day, after my second child was born, I was working in an office, not the best office of places. We had this like hole in the wall, very sketchy office for the nonprofit I was working for. And there were cats in the ceiling. And one of the cats had kittens. So you'd be in there working and you would hear them meow, meow. Oh my gosh. And for those breastfeeding moms, I'm not going to say what happened, but you know what happened if I'm telling you, like it mimicked a child.
They started lactating?
Yeah.
Oh my, you started. Oh no.
You started. And then they're at work like, oh my God. Why is this? Yeah, it's the kittens. The kittens. Every time the kittens would start to meow, I would have an issue.
Oh my gosh. No, yes, cats are. When you said cats in the ceiling, I don't know if you're an Office fan.
Yeah.
There's the fire drill episode when like Oscar's like going to find help and like he's like going up the ceiling and Angela's like, save my cat! And she throws the cat up and then the cat falls out of another ceiling.
I forgot about
going off track.
Oh, goodness. Yes. So the point is, yes, we are physically, like as mothers, there is research that proves that we are physically attached to our children in
Yes,
ways, emotionally, physiologically.
Which when those emotions get so high, like we lose it.
Right.
We can lose it and we can yell at our kids. And a lot of us feel incredibly guilty anytime we yell at our child. And the popular media doesn't help by pushing like all of these research articles about here's what happens to your child's brain when you yell at it. And like every shame-inducing thing out there, you see it. So this is not one of those episodes. This is how you can just stop the guilt cycle for yourself about yelling at your kids. We're going to give you 3 actionable tips. And hopefully by the end, you're feeling a lot better and you have a game plan to go forward.
Right. You will. I promise.
Yes.
I feel very, very strongly about this.
Yes. So let's get on with the show.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe it, Joanne. Tomorrow is your birthday. I'm so excited.
It is my birthday. And since like we are both firm believers in the birthday week celebration, we've been doing a whole week of deals.
We have, and they have been amazing.
So far this past week, we brought our listeners deals on homework, morning management, emotions, self-regulation, and sibling relationships, which is a biggie. And today's is equally awesome. Today you can get the DOT system for students.
Woohoo! That's awesome. And I absolutely cannot wait for everybody to see what's going on tomorrow on your actual birthday.
Yep. So here's what you need to do to make sure you are in on all the festivities. I can talk. Use the link in our show notes to download the No Guilt Mom Mindset and join our No Guilt Mom community.
Woohoo! And if you're already in the No Guilt Mom community, you've already been getting these lovely emails. So you know about all these specials.
Yeah. So make sure you don't miss out. Help me celebrate my birthday by letting me give you a gift. Honestly, like that's the coolest thing.
I know.
So be on the lookout for all the birthday week celebrations and let's get on with the show.
You want mom life to be easier. That's our goal too. Our mission is to raise more self-sufficient and independent kids, and we're going to have fun doing it. We're going to help you delegate and step back. Each episode will tackle strategies for positive discipline, making our kids more responsible and making our lives better in the process. Welcome to the No Guilt Mom Podcast.
Okay, so Brie, we've yelled at our kids.
So many times.
We've so lost it. Like I have lost it. I remember one story in particular where my son was very, very mad at his older sister. And when he gets mad, he tends to like rage at her. Like he'll hop off one couch when she's sitting on the other couch and he'll go over and like hit her and then like run away. And this particular incident, he was like hitting her and then he'd run away and I'd be like, okay, stop, calm down. And then 2 minutes later, he would like kick her and then run away. And I'm like, okay, let's take some breaths. And I was even doing like my tactics of like trying to mumble and walk away. And then the third time he would like kick her and she's like, ow, ow. And it just became so repetitive that I was like, stop it right now. And I just yelled and his face froze and like just crumpled and he started crying and left the room. And I felt completely awful. Totally awful. I'm sure you've had a story like that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm like going through a bazillion in my head. Plenty with my daughter, but a big one comes into play with my son. And I think I shared it on one of our episodes previously with Catherine Reynolds-Lewis, where we were out of town trying to get to a restaurant at night in the dark, and there was a protest crowd coming up, and I guess it agitated my son, and I didn't realize that. So while I'm looking around trying to make sure we're all there, and again, not the best lit area, so I'm kind of looking hard for everybody trying to figure things out, my son starts talking to me very forcefully, and when I'm not responding because again I'm looking at other things, and he starts punching me in the arm, and I lost it and yelled at him and was like, "You do not hit me!" And I was just very angry. And it took me a minute or two not a minute or two. It felt like a minute or two, but a couple of moments to hear my son go, I just need to know where we're going. And then I saw his face and realized, what was going on, that he was super agitated. And oh my goodness, I think I needed a shower, man. I felt awful. Like that shame and that guilt, it ate at me the rest of the night. There was just like, no matter how many times I apologized to him, there was nothing I could do to move past it because it just felt so awful.
Yeah, because in those moments, I feel like the thought process that goes through my head is that I have damaged the connection between me and my child. I have made my child feel shame. My child's going to grow up not having a close relationship with me. My child's going to yell at their own kids. My child, like, oh my gosh, all this catastrophizing and going just down, 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 down.
Down that lovely shame spiral, right?
Yeah, and you feel horrible. So if you're listening right now and you have gone through this same shame spiral, just know you are not alone. And here's how we get out of the shame spiral.
Well, wait, I'm going to put out a question. If you haven't gone through the shame spiral, will you send us an email and let me know how you don't do that? Because I would love to get a little bit of, and I mean this very seriously, I would love to get a little bit of insight on how to ensure that doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, you're right. Like the more you talk to people, it seems like this is a pretty regular thing.
It's a pretty regular thing.
Yeah.
So hello@noguiltmom.com.
Yes.
If you have some non-shame spiral, like if you have the secret to not going through this shame spiral.
Oh my goodness, we need it. Yeah. We need the input.
So let's go into these 3 steps.
All right.
So first step is just to recognize you're in the shame spiral.
Right. Yeah. I think that's a huge thing that if you think about it, just in general, like any situation you're in, recognizing that you're there is going to always give you a step to move forward.
Yeah. So in episode 24, we talked with Tina Payne Bryson, and she said something really interesting in that episode, which if you have not listened to it, oh my gosh, go back and listen to that whole episode. There's more than just this in it. But she said that when we sit in shame, there's actually a whole physiological change that happens in our visceral system. And it's an actual physiological, meaning just in your body, a state that makes us less receptive.
So in other words, our brain literally closes down.
Our brain closes down when we're in the shame spiral.
We can't do that upper level thinking. We're just thinking strictly with our feelings.
Yeah.
Which isn't that productive.
No, it doesn't.
Wow, what do you know?
It doesn't help us take steps to like repairing anything that just happened, to fixing the problem that we lost it at, or to like find out anything that's happening with our kids. So the shame spiral is just unproductive.
Right. You're going down, down, down on that. I suck. I'm terrible. Like that
I'm
nothing's going to get
ever.
better. Right. My kids are going to live in my basement forever. They're never going to have a meaningful relationship because I ruined it all because I yelled at them this one time.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's the thought process. So just recognizing that and knowing that it's unproductive, I think is like the first step to stopping the shame cycle, because there's nothing good that comes of it.
Right.
And we can tell ourselves that mentally, but then taking it into action, that's really, really the hard part. We're hitting that time of year where my brain gets so overloaded in December that I look for anything to make life easier. And I have to say, Brie, that Green Chef is one of those services.
Yes, Green Chef is there to take away the dreaded, oh my goodness, what are we going to eat for dinner tonight? You can eat clean all holiday long with over 80 weekly meal options each week, featuring things like quick and easy, protein-packed, calorie-smart, or my personal favorite, the keto options.
And you don't have to lose track of healthy eating habits during the holidays, because every Green Chef customer gets a free session with one of their registered dietitians who can walk you through how to make clean eating work for you, which is very cool.
And I have to say that I have been loving their recipes lately. They put things together I have never thought of. This week, we're trying the lemon basil caper pork with sauteed cauliflower, bell peppers, almonds, and feta cheese, my favorite. Their recipes make it so easy to support my wellness goals without skipping on flavor.
For Green Chef's best deal of the year, get $250 off with code NGM250 at greenchef.com/NGM250. That's greenchef.com/NGM250. And don't forget to use that code NGM250 to get $250 off.
Green Chef, the #1 meal kit for eating well. Hey, all, Brie here, and I wanted to share one of my favorite gifts to give during the holiday season. A Storyworth book. It is the most amazing gift ever. Storyworth is an online service that lets you create a special and unique gift of someone's story. I've given Storyworth books to both of my parents, and it has been their favorite gift, hands down. And did I mention it is so easy? Storyworth emailed my parents questions every week that I handpicked from their massive list of questions that they have. All my parents had to do was open their email and answer them. That easy. I asked my dad questions like, did you have any rules that you set for yourself as a parent, which you immediately broke? And he did. I even asked both of my parents, are you more like your mom or your dad? And they shared a lot of really amazing qualities that I didn't know about my grandparents at the time. Then at the end of the year, Storyworth compiles all of their answers, puts them into this gorgeous book that covers everything. My parents love showing us their books, and I personally love getting a chance to read them. With Storyworth, I am giving those I love a thoughtful and personal gift from the heart that preserves their memories and stories for years to come. Go to storyworth.com/NGM and save $10 on your first purchase. That's storyworth.com/NGM to save $10 on your first purchase.
Right. And Tina also gave some great information too about like, we need to be curious.
We need to get
Right?
curious. Yes.
Yeah, so we
Instead
need
of
to-
shame.
Not go down that spiral, but actually be curious about what just happened there.
Yes. So there's two things to be curious about.
Okay.
The first one, we need to be curious about ourselves.
True.
Is something that Tina said in that episode, which I loved. And she's like, something like, why did that happen? Why did I lose it there? And she said that sometimes the answer is like, I'm acting this way as a parent because I haven't peed by myself in 6 weeks.
You know what? I loved that part. Like, we actually made that into a trailer for that episode because I was like, oh my goodness, how relatable is that? Like, I haven't peed myself in weeks. The dog just threw up. I'm hungry because I haven't eaten since yesterday. Like,
yeah,
all
I haven't
those
been
things.
left alone. Like I haven't had any thoughts of my own or any thoughts that like are uninterrupted by someone else needing something from me.
Right. And it's just like there's a gazillion reasons why, but you can't even begin to start working through it if you don't know what the cause was yourself, just in you.
Yeah.
First curiosity is, why did I snap? And I can tell you in
Exactly.
my example, my snap was because my stress level was high. And I was scared too about what was going on. Like I was afraid I was going to lose one of my kids, wasn't sure what was happening. And so because of that, I snapped when my son snapped.
And that's completely reasonable.
Right.
I think I might have snapped because I believe I had a headache at the time. It was the end of the day, so I was exhausted and I was a bit hungry because it was right around dinner time.
That's what I was going to say. Everybody, I'm sorry, if you're listening out there, Mama, you get a little bit of a pass when it comes to that witching hour.
Oh,
no
yeah.
matter who you are, no matter how old your kids are, that magic time, I would say like between after school and dinner time is always going to be that time that everybody gets snippy.
Oh yeah, because
Always.
everyone's hungry and tired.
Yes.
Hungry and tired. It's always those are the two ingredients
I
for a
hate the witching
total
hour.
meltdown.
Gosh.
Both for moms and for kids.
Yes.
So when we're curious about that, we tend to be a little kinder to ourselves during those times. Like now, before I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen my kids all day. I want to be like super productive with them and do stuff.
You have these dreams.
Yeah.
And they shatter almost instantly when they get in the car.
Yeah,
No,
no.
at least mine.
It kind of does, yes.
Oh,
It's totally
gosh.
true. But now I take a step back during that time. And I mean, my kids are 7 and almost 12. And I use that time to work by myself because my kids also need to cool down from
Right.
school. Like
Yeah.
they are not ready for any sort of interaction. So just becoming curious about what I need and what they need during that time has helped a lot and prevented a lot of
Right.
meltdowns.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's the first step. Recognize your own shame. And we talked about getting curious. Second step is to get curious about your kids' behavior and your kids' reaction. Because usually when we think about kids and behaviors that we consider a problem behavior,
Mhm.
we're looking just at the surface. We're looking at just the behaviors we can see. And many times those behaviors that we see, we make the wrong assumptions about. We think that kids are, they're lazy, or, they're purposefully ignoring us, or
They're being defiant. They're being oppositional on purpose.
Or if you see a kid out in public, you might think that their misbehavior is caused by poor parenting.
I think almost every parent has been guilty of at least once. You're going to be
Yes.
totally 100% raw and
100%
honest here.
Raw and honest.
At
Yes.
least once you have looked at another person that has a
Mhm.
kid that's having a meltdown or has a kid that's misbehaving, no matter what the age, and thought to yourself, well, if they just parented a little better, that wouldn't be happening.
Yeah, which is horrible to think.
I know, right?
And it's not something that we endorse at all, but it's also good
Human
to
nature.
acknowledge that it is human nature.
yeah,
It's human nature. And like when I have those thoughts, I'm like, wait a minute, I don't know the whole story.
right.
And
right?
Yep. And in fact, the whole story can actually, if you think of an iceberg, think of how like what you see of an iceberg above the water is really just a small percentage of that actual iceberg.
100%. Yes. And what you see at the top is in no indication of what it looks like on the bottom
Yeah.
or the shape on the bottom.
Exactly. So when we only look at the top, we believe that our kids are doing things on purpose to make us mad, or that they're seeking that negative attention just to get attention, or that they have control over everything that they're doing at that time. But what we really need to get curious about is what's under the water.
What's underneath. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. And like that's an interesting theme because it comes back to we talk a lot about positive discipline in this in all of No Guilt Mom. And that actually follows the concept there too, as well as their misguided belief. Your child at that point in time probably has some either some kind of a misguided belief from either a previous experience or just trying to get a need met.
So just talk a little bit about what is a misguided belief.
So a misguided belief is going to be that where your child believes that if they act a certain way or if they do something a certain way, that it's going to get them the result that they want. So again, it does come back to sometimes being as simple as if I can keep mom's attention on me 100%, then that means that she loves me. That means I'm important. And if she diverts her attention between me and my sibling, then that means she doesn't love me anymore. It doesn't mean I'm trying to act mean because I don't like my sibling.
Mm-hmm.
It's because I for some reason believe that this is how I get my love. So that's just like one example of one of the misguided
It's
behaviors.
their thoughts or ideas that they hold and that they think are true, but are really not serving the general good.
Right.
Mhm.
And to give another so this is kind of me moving out of the misguided belief, but into like a real basic one of those driving causes of a behavior.
Mhm.
Okay. Who out there has been hangry?
Oh,
All
me.
right?
Yes. Yes.
Seriously.
Total hangry.
Right.
Yes.
My kids know that there are two things about mom that makes me irrational. and luckily we are all very open about it in our family. So like, no, I do not get angry at anyone that ever says this to me.
Mhm.
Hey, Brie, are you tired? Hey, Brie, are you hungry? Those are the two things that I get like just mean. like, rawr, with like, I just cannot handle those two things. And it kind of brings me back to this thought process we've talked about before too. Halt.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of times, like, what are the, and we, that is one of the things in the, iceberg thought process, the iceberg theory about your child's behavior and the reason for their behavior is their physiological state.
Yeah.
Are they hungry?
Are they hungry?
Are they angry?
Are they
are they-
tired?
Yeah, are they tired? Are they lonely?
Mhm.
Those are 4 big factors that cause a lot of behavior that is very annoying
Mhm.
and non-productive for children.
Yeah. So getting curious about what your kids' thoughts and beliefs are, getting curious about what their physiological state, whether they're hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. Also, what their emotional response to the situation is. In particular, shame and embarrassment. It's funny
Oh,
that we're talking
goodness.
about shame. And sometimes the reason that our kids are having the behavior they have is result of their own shame.
Right, exactly. Either from like previous experiences with us, previous
Mhm.
experience with their peers,
Yes.
right? Like they believe that because they did bad on a test, that means that they're just not smart.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Or like in the instance of one of our Sib Journal families, she was
Mhm.
describing how her son just did not want to apologize ever to his brother.
and she saw that, or like, and they saw it as arrogance at first.
She saw,
right?
the top of the iceberg. She thought it was arrogant. She thought it was just like he knew everything and he refused to admit when he was wrong. But when they dug a little bit deeper, they found that he was telling himself things like, I'm a bad person.
Right.
I did this. I'm a bad person. And that shame was really, really affecting him hard. My son is playing a game right now on his computer where he's a thief and the cops are after him. So I'm so excited about this new app, Give As We Grow, where instead of being the quote unquote bad guys, kids are practicing giving back.
That is so cool, Joanne. I really wish that there was something like this when my kids were younger that got them excited about giving back to others and helped them build a better understanding of what it really means to volunteer.
Give As We Grow is the first of its kind free educational mobile app for children ages 8 to 11 that teaches kids via fun, service-focused minigame quests to tap into their unique talents and interests to help others.
And did you know that studies show that there is a biological connection between generosity and happiness, and that volunteering improves people's physical and mental health? I mean, kids who volunteer typically do better in school and are less likely to engage in risky behaviors. And that is something that I think we all want for our kids.
Ready to spark a new movement in generosity? Find and download Give As We Grow for free in the App Store for Android and iOS. And for resources for the whole family, visit giveaswegrow.org. This message is sponsored by Greenlight. It is so hard to raise kids who know how to manage money. Bree, right now, my kids are all about earning money for presents. My daughter wants to get presents for all of her friends, and my son is doing a Secret Santa with his friends.
Oh, I hear you. And if you're looking to raise kids that are financially responsible, we have got a lifesaver recommendation for you that you need to check out. It is Greenlight. Greenlight is a debit card and money app made for families that gives kids and teens an easy and fun way to gain financial literacy, all while giving parents peace of mind.
You can send instant money transfers, automate allowance, and even keep an eye on kids' spending with real-time notifications. Meanwhile, your kids can begin their journey towards financial autonomy by learning how to save, invest, and spend wisely.
So sign up for Greenlight today and get your first month free when you go to greenlight.com/NGM.
That's greenlight.com/NGM to try Greenlight for free. Greenlight.com/NGM.
And I think that it's really important to note to parents that, so again, it's important to look at the cause of your child's behavior. That's our second tip here. But in this story in particular, talking about a child that wasn't willing to apologize outright to their sibling, this whole shame situation, it's more than just asking your kid, hey, why are you not doing this? And immediately he's like, well, because I feel like this.
I feel shameful, mother.
Right. No, it was a lot more involved than that. And in that case, they were utilizing the SIB journal, and we have a section about shame. And that was where, because it was a lot of times they don't even realize that they have these thought processes going on. You have to really work with them. I mean, if you think about it too, as adults, there's a lot of emotions and actions that we have that we don't fully understand why we have them.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to go through and really work at it. So, of course, your child isn't going to be able to articulate this to you right off the bat. It takes some work.
We have to do the work and they have to do the work. And sometimes it's hard to even figure out what work you have to do. But that's why we're here for you.
Yeah, exactly. We are here to help support you in that journey. So with that being said, that leads us to tip number 3.
The third tip for what to do when you're feeling guilty for yelling at your child, just focus on repairing the relationship. And this was something that was said in Dr. Dan Siegel and Tina Payne Bryson's book, No Drama Discipline. And something they said in particular, we'll be immature, unkind, and reactive at times. What's most important is that we address our own misbehavior and repair the breach in our relationship as soon as possible, most likely by offering or asking for forgiveness.
And you know what? I'm going to throw this out a little further. I feel like actually every guest we've had on with a background in psychology or parenting, anything like that, they've all said the same thing.
Repair.
Yes, that connection that you're going to get from repairing is one of the most important things you can do as a parent. That connection.
That's it.
It's huge.
And hearing that, I feel it alleviates a lot of the guilt because you can do that after the fact. Yes, you were tired. Yes, you had a long day, or like in any case, like maybe you had a headache, but stuff happened. You know that this stuff happened. Now just concentrate on repairing it.
Right. So I feel like a big thing that one of the big ways that I feel like I probably end up doing that in my life is I am huge on admitting when I have made a mistake. To me, that is a huge thing. And the same with my kids, and they know that. if you made a mistake, just fess up and we'll work through it. There's nothing that can't be worked through. Did you burn it down? Nope. Okay, we can still work with it.
Yeah.
So that's a huge thing that I feel like is big when you have that repairing your relationship with your kids. Come to them. Be honest.
Yes.
I wasn't in my best place.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is that you're comfortable saying, if it is that I wasn't at my best, if it's okay enough to say like, I made a mistake, I shouldn't have yelled, whatever it is that you feel like you are okay with admitting, just bring that out there.
You just admit it. I mean, I did it when I yelled at my son. That was a pretty lengthy process where I came and I held him and I said, I'm so sorry. I lost it there. I yelled at you. And we talked about it after that. And that does one more really good thing, because in the future, your kids are going to lose it. They are going to yell at people. They are going to break down crying, and they need to know how to recover from that.
Right.
So if they see their parents being able to recover from something that happened with them with no shame and just work on repairing, then they see in their relationships now and in future relationships, that's what they need to do. They need to repair.
So I'm going to throw this out there because I know there are some listeners that probably are thinking to themselves, well, that's, if you came back and you said you were sorry for yelling at your son when he was hitting your daughter, then you're being permissive. You're telling him it's okay.
Yeah,
but
let's break that down.
But
let's
that's
break
not
that down.
what happened there.
That's not
right?
what happened. No, there was a way to respond to that situation where, especially with me and my son hitting, that did not have to include yelling. If I was in a healthier state of mind at the time, I probably would have taken my son and we would have gone to another room and I would have physically separated him from his sister. And seeing that he was in such an agitated state, I would have stayed there with him to calm him down.
And when you said, I'm sorry that I yelled, I shouldn't have yelled, did he just sit there and go, okay, and the conversation was over?
No, he was so
Right.
sorry for his behavior.
Right, then he reflected on it.
Yeah, he reflected on his behavior and he's like, I shouldn't have been hitting Sissy. Like I
Right?
was so mad and I couldn't get away fast enough. And he was like digging deep into like the reasons he himself was hitting.
Right. So like, I feel like that's really important to point out that when you take that first step forward to connect and to repair that relationship, that gives your child permission to do the same.
Yeah, it's really magical because we were not raised this way at all about how to reflect on our own behavior and the causes behind our behavior. And by teaching our kids this, oh my gosh, if you are at all worried about screwing up your kids for the future, this alone should hopefully put you on like the more happy, positive path that, oh my gosh, I am giving my kids this skill of seeing that when they make a mistake, they now know a path on how to fix that mistake and repair that mistake. And that is huge.
Because the only time you can't fix it is when you don't even try.
Yeah.
That's the only time. Like if you are at the point where you don't care, you don't see any how your behavior impacts anything and you don't want to repair it, that is the only time that you really aren't going to have anything positive come from it.
Exactly.
Yes.
So our 3 steps, next time you lose it, which, I mean, there's going to be a next time. There's going to be a next time for me. There's going to be a next time for Brie.
I think that I'm on like, the last loss I had was maybe times 6,527.
I've lost
so
count.
last I heard, I still have probably about another 20 to 50,000 to go.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
So next time it happens, know that you do not you're not going to mess up your kids for life. Just think of these 3 steps. Recognize that shame. Get curious about what's causing your kids' behavior as well as your own, and then just repair the relationship. And with that, hey, if you have not yet subscribed to the No Guilt Mom podcast, hit that subscribe button right now because we have so many more episodes coming for you that are as great as this one. And if you ever have any ideas for an episode, please let us know. Our email address is hello@noguiltmom.com. And while you're there subscribing, if you could take a few minutes and give us a little 1 to 2 sentence review, we would love it. We're going to read one of our reviews right now. Do you want to read the review, Brie?
Sure. All right. Happy to have found this podcast. Woohoo. And this one is by, I think it's Nikki Kane. Ooh. Okay. I stumbled across this podcast while doing a Google search about chores for kids. I have 2 more episodes downloaded to listen to today. Great content. Thank you for sharing your specialty with us moms who need some reassurance. Thank you. And thank you, Nikki.
Thank you, Nikki.
Oh, we love the big virtual fuzzy hugs.
We do. We love them so much. So if you we would love to read your review on air. Just if you could take a few minutes right now to write your little 1 to 2 sentence review, and hopefully we've earned the 5 stars from you. We would so greatly appreciate it. Until next time, remember, the best mom's a happy mom. Take care of you. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for stopping by.
Are you looking for something to listen to with your whole family? Then check out 6 Minutes, produced and created by Gen Z Media. With over 200 twisty, cliffhanger-filled episodes, 6 Minutes tells the story of 11-year-old Holiday, who is pulled from the icy waters with no memory of who she is or where she came from.
3 years ago, Brinley Pasternak helped the Anders family uncover the truth about Holiday's past. Now she'll need them to help her find the truth about hers. In 6 Minutes Out of Time, the long-awaited sequel, Cyrus Anders is found unconscious near the mysterious Elixir Academy in Florida, and Brinley learns the school may have a shocking connection to her missing mother.
Dive in now and get the most downloaded family audio adventure in history. Follow 6 Minutes wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen early and ad-free with the GZM family subscription.